Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 2 of Methods to Teaching Human Sciences. I'm back on the syllabus that I sent you a link to so we can try to stay on task. Uh, First week was just introductions, and you hopefully judged a virtual STAR event. This was our first time to ever do district STAR events virtually because of COVID. We had to transition. So hopefully everything ran smoothly on your end. Usually we would have a lot more students, but this year there was a lack of motivation with a lot of students, and a lot of our students just seem to be very stressed this year and not able to take on any extracurriculars because they have a huge workload and they miss out on so much instruction time because they are back and forth pivoting from virtual learning to in-person learning a lot because they have to quarantine. I've even had several students, they are on their third and fourth time to quarantine, and a quarantine period might be from 1 week to 2 weeks that they're missing instruction. They're just trying to stay afloat. Anyways, if you look on your um, Google Doc of my syllabus and you want to follow along, you can. The assignment for this week was to submit a reflection over STAR events judging, and I put the link in this Google Doc. So if you just hover over reflection questions, you'll see STAR event judging reflection and click on that. And it'll take you right to the questions to answer about how your experience was. Also probably going to have this in Blackboard, but right now I don't have access, so I'm trying to communicate with you and send you assignments via email until they have my Blackboard fixed where I can actually see people in it. So we are covering career and technical student organizations this week, or CTSO for short. You might think of this as a student club in another term. And the main CTSO that goes with FCS courses is FCCLA, which is Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. This is a required CTSO for every FACS program in the state of Arkansas, and each CTSO is called a chapter. So if you worked in Benton High School, your chapter would be called Benton High School chapter. Or I work at Whitehall High School, and ours is the Whitehall High School chapter. And then we have a middle school teacher, and her chapter is Whitehall Middle School. So each chapter is required by the state of Arkansas to have 12 affiliated paid members. So that means you have to have at least 12 members pay dues for you to have an official chapter. This is the Arkansas FCCLA website, and I'm embedding all these links in here. I think it's real important that you get familiar with all these different resources and websites you'll have to use later on in your career. So Arkansas FCCLA website, this is new. It actually just got built a year ago, or this past year in 2020, so that we can see everything going on in Arkansas and have all our forms all in one place. And we even have a calendar on here with important dates. There we see there was our district STAR events judging, and then our scholarships for Arkansas FCCLA members that want to apply is February 1st. And then you'll see the officer team for Arkansas. Let's go back. All right, the next website I want to show you is the National FCCLA website. This is where you'll go to affiliate and pay your memberships for your students whenever you have your own chapter. You'll find out stuff about grants, awards and money you can get for your classroom. There are lesson plans on here. There's stuff about field trips and events you can participate in. If you hover over compete, competitive events, star events, skill demonstration, there's a knowledge bowl students can get involved in, which is like a quiz bowl for FCCLA and FCS programs. Stuff about scholarships, how to attend all these different conferences. There's several conferences you can attend throughout the year. You don't have to go to all of them though. The next link is the star events link. So star events is very important because that's our big student competitive event or student competition that they get involved in. They compete at the district level, which is an area in Arkansas. So my district is District 4, and there are 6 districts, by the way. And District 4 is just about all the schools in Southeast Arkansas. All compete against each other because they're the closest to each other. Then the top 2 teams from each event get to go to national or get to go to state level to compete. So the top 2 high scoring teams in each event, let's say for example, Focus on Children event, those top 2 scoring teams or individuals would go to state next, and they get a month or 2 to fix their projects or do touch-ups before going to state and compete against every other student in that event at state. Then they're scored and judged, and the top 2 scores from the state competition get to move on to nationals. Nationals is held in a different city every year. Last year it was supposed to be in Washington, D.C., but it got moved to virtual because of COVID. The year before that, I actually went to Anaheim, California with a group of students that competed at nationals because they won at state. The year before that, I was in Atlanta with students competing, and that was my first time going to nationals. We're hoping to go to Nashville, Tennessee this coming summer because it's always in the summertime, usually about the first week of July is when it happens, and it's for it lasts a whole week. Okay. Service projects are important for your CTSO, which are community service projects you can do with your chapter. If you click here, this is a link to a teacher in Arkansas. She actually won a community service award because she got so involved with her middle schoolers and with so many different community service opportunities and examples. She is actually a friend of mine. I do a couple community service or service projects throughout the year with students. This year we did, and actually a couple years, we've collected items for CASA, which is the Abused Women's and Children's Shelter here in Pine Bluff, and we would collect toys and clothes and holiday items, foods that they could use to cook their meals with. Even if they don't live in the shelter, they might be transitioning to live on their own outside the shelter, and they still need stuff to start off with because they have nothing. And there's just several different things. You just have to look into your community, whatever school district you get placed at or decide to work at. Find out what the community needs or what the people need and focus on that. One year we did those Operation Christmas shoe boxes where we collected tons of toys and personal hygiene items and filled the boxes full at a church. And those boxes were shipped over to places like Haiti and I can't remember all of them. Haiti was just the top one I could remember off the top of my head. But if you look through this article about this teacher, she had tons and tons of great ideas. You could do angel tree. We've had people do that before. Filling backpacks full of food for kids to take home over the weekend. Canned food drives. There's so many ways. Let me close off of this. The next thing to know about CTSOs is there will be district, state, and national officers. And let me go back to our FCCLA and let you know the difference between those. So district officers are going to be kind of, let's say, regional in other words. So districts, like I said, there were 6 districts in Arkansas, and I'm in District 4. So I'm going to click on District 4. And we have to have officers for each district. So here is the current officer team right here. We have a president, VP of programs, VP of membership, VP of public relations, VP of community service, and a VP of parliamentary procedure. And I run an officer every year. And that one's mine right there. And one of ours from the middle school right there from our school district. So these students are in charge of putting together, and the teachers work with them too. They put together 2 little small conferences or meetings each year. The first or it's called a meeting, is a planning election meeting. They put that together with their teachers, and at those meetings, they vote on new officers, report out on different community service projects they want to do. They give out information about dates. But the main thing is to run officers and for them to give their speeches at this meeting, and to elect new officers coming in. The second meeting that they're in charge of is a little bit bigger. Anyone from the district can come to it. It's our fall meeting. Some districts do a spring meeting. We do ours in the fall. At the fall meeting, we announce winners from star events. We give out medals and certificates. They put together games and skits to do on stage with the students. They get a guest speaker. It's all centered around whatever theme or topic they choose for that year. Now let's look at state officers. State officers, I think that was on the homepage. There's the state officers. So each district can run somebody for state office, and they have to be voted on, and then they'll run again at the state level. Excuse me. The state officers put together the state conference and all other meetings for the whole state of Arkansas, and they even go to national conferences and get a lot of leadership experience there, going to workshops, meeting new people. They can even run for national office. That's our next type of office. So national officers would help put together the national conference, of course. And I've never actually ran anybody for national office because it is a ton of work. So the farthest I've ever run somebody right now is just for state office. And we find out actually sometime later this spring if she is getting elected in a state office or not. The next thing I want to talk to you about is how to integrate FCCLA into your FCS classroom. And I have the link here. And this is taking us back to the National FCCLA website, but this is taking you directly to lesson plans and activities you can use in your classroom so that way you can teach and show about FCCLA in your classroom and not have to do it outside of classroom during whatever time clubs would actually meet for your school. So that way you can try to get more people involved and interested to actually show up to your meetings and events. Okay. There is another CTSO that you may have as a FCS teacher. It's called Educators Rising. Not everyone does this. To even be able to do this, you have to have a course or pathway at your school called pre-educator. It might be called teacher cadet, orientation to teaching, foundations of teaching. Your program has to have one of those types of courses to have the Educators Rising. I have this. I've done a little bit with Educators Rising, not a ton. The main thing I use it for is it's a way for me to get students who want to be teachers. They're eligible for certain scholarships if I sign them up for Educators Rising. There's some conferences too. There's usually a conference every spring, and I take just the students in my orientation and teaching course to it, where they can hear more about how to be a teacher and what they can do for financial aid, what schools are good, and uh, and there'll be like it's kind of like a college fair too, so that way they can look at different colleges that offer teacher educator programs. And that is about all of the resources I wanted to show you for this week about career and technical organizations. There is so much more to talk about with CTSOs, but I'm almost at 20 minutes and I don't want to spend hours and hours talking about it. The best way to learn and understand is just to be involved. Like being a judge or evaluator at star events was the best experience for me when I was in college, to help me understand how it's going to happen, because you will have to advise your students on how to put together these projects. And if you judge at state or nationals or district star events, it's going to give you so much knowledge. Every year, I try to myself be a lead consultant, which is kind of like a head judge over a different star event every year. So that way I can learn more about it, so that I can show students in class how to follow this rubric or how to do it. And then I wanted to show you one more thing. Let me go to my drive. Wanted to show you some things about FCCLA at my school. There's just a few. There it is. And wait for my pictures to load. So Nationals is a week every summer, and it's in a different city. You are not competing the whole week. The students will go to compete, and it usually only takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and then they're done competing, and then you're just waiting for results. But there's other things to do too. There are vendor booths they can go to. There are small workshops they can go to about leadership. There's workshops over different careers. There was a cookie decorating class. There's sewing introductions and basics they'll go over. Students can go to if they're interested in sewing. There's fun activities to do, like there's always a marathon. I think you can run up. We've never run the marathon though. Sometimes it'll be at night and everybody wears glow in the dark stuff. Since this last year was in Anaheim, California, after sometimes when you get done, if there's nothing else planned for the day, you can go out and do fun stuff, which is what my students always wanted to do. this was us. We went to Santa Monica Pier. There was a big carnival set out there on the docks right on the ocean. We did that for an afternoon. We went to Disneyland for one whole day, so there was nothing going on that day. So we spent the whole day at Disneyland. We went to Hollywood Boulevard and rented scooters and rode them up and down the Star Walk with all the celebrities. This was one of my favorite trips to do with them. And then you see them with their boards getting ready to compete. The year before that, we went to Atlanta. I think we went to an aquarium. That's us at CNN, World of Coca-Cola. And also, if students aren't competing, another way for them to be involved and to do more things at conferences, they can actually be a student judge. Each event is allowed one student judge. So I've had, while some students are competing, the other students might be in there too, but they're judging a different event for the day. So that way they're not bored and they can learn more too. If you have any questions, let me know. Um, I'm hoping I might can get you guys involved with state star events virtually, but we don't really have the date yet, but I will for sure let you know. Thank you.